So if I were going to make a slideshow using Google Slideshow, which is the easiest for me because that's what I have, I would type in slides.google.com. We'll start a presentation. A little bit of time. Okay. So here where my main page is, this is the very beginning slide, so it's an introductory slide. So the title of my project typically goes on here. So for the sake of my project, it is the Ancient Civilization Museum Demonstration. Oops. Not demon. There we go. Demonstration. Okay, if I want to add additional slides, I just come over here and click on this and hit enter. And this will allow me to have multiple slides. Usually on these I like to have just a main title and my name. And then some background or image, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Here would be like my first point. Okay, so here's where I might talk about the different items that I answered on my display board questions, and I would put that information into my slideshow. So depending on what yours is, you will answer those questions and put them into the slide. Now you had written questions, but those went with the rough draft paragraph, which will become a final draft paragraph. Okay, so those are two different questions for two different parts of this project. Okay. So I'll start putting in my information in here. If I want to change the theme instead of just black and white, I don't really want to go in here and choose another theme that you thought looked pretty cool. So for the sake of example, I'm choosing this one. And it makes the adjustment for all my slides. Now, another thing that I can do is I could go up here and click on background, and I could change the color of the background. So I didn't like this blue. I wanted it to be red instead. I could change it like that. Okay. Another thing that you could do is, well, let's get off themes first. Alright, if I'm just working in my slideshow, you may decide that you want to insert an image. Okay, so I'm doing from my drive, this is what I have here. I'm going to insert this map. And it's very small, so I'm going to take it and drag it and make it larger. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get everything to be laid out. You want it to be laid out, but don't spend a lot of time initially making it look good. You want to make sure that your information's in there first, and then you can spend as much time as you want making it look good. The information is the most important part, and then the way that you design it will fall into place. So if everything wasn't completely perfect by the time you had to turn it in, at least all your information would be in there. Okay, so you could do lots and lots of different things. I might want to insert a symbol or a shape to point out something important. And then I can take it and move it around. If I didn't like that it was gray, I can change the color to maybe yellow to make it stand out. If you don't like the font, you can always change the font to be whatever you want it to be. So just, decide what it is that you want to change the font on. You can change the colors of it by going up here to the text color, make it bold, italicized, or underlined, the different size of it if I want it to be bigger. If I want this map, say, to be on top of everything and I didn't want my arrow to stand out, I would right click and change the order and bring it to the front. Or if I had several things that I was going to layer, that's how I would do that. For transitions, let's talk about this. Under slide, if you go to transition, and I'll just say that Microsoft Office has their own PowerPoint, and it runs fairly similar to this. So if you're using PowerPoint, it's going to be maybe a little bit different, but not too terribly much. So you can go to transition. Right now, nothing is selected, but I might decide that I want to have the cube transition. Okay, I'm going to apply it to all my slides. So basically, what this is going to do is, change slide. When I hit play, it's going to turn it like that. So for this one, select it. And I hit play. That's what it looks like, okay? So you can change the speed or whatever. I don't think that one has an object. Let's go back to the first slide. It's running slow. Object animations. I can add animations to this as well. Okay, and it can become really fancy, but again, don't spend way too much time on this, because this is not the important part of the project. The important part is the information you're putting into your project. You don't want this to be so crazy that it distracts from everything else. So anyway, you can play with these and do that. Okay, if I wanted to watch my whole presentation, then I would hit print. And just hit the space bar, or I can use these buttons down here to operate it. And then it will change just like that. Once done, you hit escape, it will bring you out back into this mode. Alright, so that's pretty much the basics of it. There's a lot we can do, but for just this general presentation, those are some basic things to get you started. Feel free to play around with it. Google Drive, it does save your changes automatically, so if you got off or whatever, it would save what you had before. So one final thing I want to show you, if you were going to say I wanted to share it to my teacher, I would start entering the email address, and I'm going to share it with this person, and here are my options. They can edit it, comment, or view. Depending on who I send it to, if I was sending it to my teacher, I'd probably just leave the edit option on, because if I forgot like the letter S, maybe they would be kind and add the letter S to my word that I forgot, or whatever. Or if they needed to make a change or add it into the class PowerPoint, that would be an option, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to have to send back permission, and it just kind of slows things down. I might say, here is my presentation. And then I'll click send, and it will send the permission to access this in an email, and then the teacher would receive the notification that here, this is available to you. Okay, I'm not going to officially do it because I'd be just sending it to myself, but that is the basic rundown on Google Slides, which is very similar to Google PowerPoint. So alrighty, let me know if you have any questions or would like to see something different.